Hi everyone, Eric at Retro Handheld Guides, and today I'm going to be taking another look at the TrimUI Smart Pro with CrossMix OS. This unit was sent to me by the good people at MechDIY. No money was exchanged, and the opinions in this video are my own. If you want to help support more content on this channel, consider buying your next retro handheld console from MechDIY using the link in the description below. So the last time I showed the TrimUI Smart Pro on this channel, CrossMix OS was just released, and at the time I could already see the potential to make a good device great. Since then, CrossMix OS has continued to improve this device and fix some of the original issues I had with emulation, especially around N64. In today's video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of CrossMix OS and show you some emulation on this device. So CrossMix OS is just a modified version of the original software that came with the console, with some improved emulation as well as some more features. So if we take a look at this device, we can see here that we do have a ton of consoles that are available for this device. This unit was sent to me with a 256 gigabyte preloaded card from MechDIY, so there are a ton, thousands and thousands of games, as well as dozens of consoles available in this particular SD card. Now, with the version of CrossMix that I have here, there are some improvements that were made with the device that really add to the potential that the device is capable of. So a couple of things that we can see here is that in addition to some more emulation systems that did not originally come with the device, there are also tons of apps that are available through CrossMix OS. One of the great features of CrossMix OS that was not originally available is the inclusion of Portmaster. If you've seen any of my Portmaster games emulation testing, you can know that the Portmaster adds a ton of PC and user-generated games to the device. So playing things like Shredder's Revenge or Celeste, and as well as Stardew Valley are capable on this device using Portmaster, which comes pre-installed with CrossMix OS. In addition, there are also screen scrapers as well as some other tools that really add to the CrossMix OS experience for the TrimUI Smart Pro, making this a fantastic device for playing those games that are on PC. Additionally, we do have a ton of emulators in here that are available, and if we go into any of these systems, one of the things that we can do inside of CrossMix OS that was not originally available is when we load up any of our games, the system will boot right into it. And you can see here that there are tons of, or each emulated device will have its own bezels on it. The system does allow for you to access your main menu using the menu key in the lower left-hand corner. And as we go into this and exit our games, you can see that one of the features of CrossMix OS is that when we do come back into this game, it actually uses the automated save state and load state. So when we come back, we're jumping right back into the game exactly where we left it, which makes it a great pick up and play device. I love turning on that auto save and auto load state for my devices, as I don't have a lot of time, and it's great to be able to just pick up a device, put it down whenever I need to with an auto save, and then turn it back on and jump right back into a game where I need to. Another thing that CrossMix OS really adds to this device is the ability to actually play N64 games. Now, one of my issues that I had with CrossMix, or with the original emulated systems on here, was that N64 was actually pretty terrible. If you've seen any of my, or if you saw my original N64 emulation testing, you'll note that there were a ton of games that actually this thing was not capable of playing. When I tried to load up any of the games, it would actually just crash right back to the beginning because N64 was not, did not have an emulator that was capable of running this. Since then, Retro Rob has added created a standalone emulator capable of running on this device, which greatly improves our N64 emulation. Now, I did do a video on that one as well, showing you how the standalone emulator actually allows for N64 to be played on this device. And with that, it has actually been included directly into CrossMix OS. So we can run many of the games that we're not capable of running before, including those games like GoldenEye, Castlevania, WWF No Mercy. Those ones couldn't run originally on the TrimUI Smart Pro, but now are able to be run directly from this device because of the work that Retro Rob had done to create that standalone emulator, and CrossMix OS now incorporating that emulator directly into the system as well. Another great feature of the CrossMix OS is the ability to sleep. This function is capable, or this device is capable of sleeping. So if we simply tap on that button right at the top, the system will go to sleep. And the sleep function is actually pretty good in this. Obviously, it's not as good as an Android device capable of sleeping for days on end without losing too much battery, but it is not bad, especially for a retro handheld device. When you put this device to sleep, it will pause the game or stop it wherever you are. It's not just turning off the device, which makes this actually a really great device for some pick up and play to put it to sleep and then come back in. One of my favorite features, in fact, of the CrossMix OS is the inclusion of some updated emulators. One of the best ones that they've included into the and pre-configured for this device is the ability to use different emulators for your systems. To do that, you simply press the X button right at the top, and then from there you can see that we have the ability to check which particular emulator we want to use for our emulation on this console. And when it comes to PlayStation, they have done the work to include 16:9 emulation for the original PlayStation. This works out fantastically for many of the PlayStation games, as it does automatically stretch those games out to be full screen on this device. Now, it doesn't work with every single PlayStation game that is available in the library. You will have occasionally missed graphics on the left and right hand side, because not every game is capable of scaling that way, but those games that are capable of scaling that way look fantastic. So things like Ace Combat, as well as some other games like your driving games and some of the sports games look absolutely fantastic at 16:9 on this console. So that is another great feature of CrossMix OS that was not included in the original, and one of my favorite new updates for the device based off of the CrossMix OS. Now, another thing that the CrossMix OS does include into the device is actually the ability to auto-scale the CPU. Before, on the device, you used to have to map the function key, which is available on the bottom, to overclock this device. With CrossMix OS, they've actually included the CPU scaling frequencies directly in the emulation launchers, so that when you launch any of these devices or any of these emulated consoles, the system will automatically pick the CPU frequency that makes the most sense. So you're not wasting battery overclocking the device for those low-end systems like Game Boy, like Nintendo, like Super Nintendo. It will only overclock when you're using those higher-end devices like N64, like Dreamcast, like PSP, and that way you are going to be able to get the most of the juice available for you for the CPU when you're using those higher-end devices without wasting battery when you're trying to emulate those lower-end devices. And the last thing that I wanted to point out for you, for games like the PSP, the system does include the ability to launch these devices with Vulkan. So that was not something that was originally available inside of the original OS that was available for the TrimUI Smart Pro. It's something that was updated later in an updated firmware, and then also included into the CrossMix OS. So Vulkan does add some performance to this device. Luckily, this chip is capable of running with Vulkan for PSP. It does mean that we do have some improved performance with this device on PSP using the Vulkan emulator. And so if you're looking for PSP, this device is not capable of emulating everything, but with Vulkan, it certainly is capable of emulating a good number of games on this library. And with the 16:9 screen and the dual joysticks, you do have some really good games that can be played on the system through Vulkan using PSP on this device. So those are some of my quick thoughts on the TrimUI Smart Pro using CrossMix OS. It is something that you can obviously download yourself and install yourself. It's quite easy. All you need is a new SD card and then download CrossMix OS from the link for the GitHub for CrossMix OS and then load it right onto the card. Otherwise, you can always get the CrossMix OS pre-installed from MechDIY using that link in the description below. So with that, I definitely recommend updating your device to CrossMix. It is available for free. If you have a TrimUI Smart Pro and haven't updated to CrossMix, I would absolutely recommend it. If you're looking for a TrimUI Smart Pro, CrossMix is definitely the way to go when you want this device, as it does really improve the performance for many of those systems that were available, as well as make this device just so much more capable. So with that, let's take a look at some of the emulation on this device now with the updated CrossMix OS on the TrimUI Smart Pro.